Yo, what's good on the web? This your man Q back again with some more of that geek news. All weekend long, I've been playing Triangle Strategy and I love it. So I wanted to give y'all my first impressions with about 14, 15, almost 20-ish hours of what I think about Square Enix and Nintendo Switch's latest exclusive strategy JRPG. That's a lot. That's a tongue twister. If you like Octopath Traveler, there's a huge chance that you're going to really enjoy Triangle Strategy. Unless, well, you just don't like JRPGs or strategy RPGs at all. And if that's the case, I feel sorry for your mother.
What you say about my mama?
And speaking of Octopath, which was a great game, like I keep reiterating, it just didn't have story. There was no central story to fall behind. Even when you're doing the new game plus, they were job classes and there were weapons and they were specials, but there wasn't any story. But that's not the case for Triangle Strategy. Along with a solid story, at least so far from where I'm at in the game, it reminds me a lot of a video game version of Game of Thrones, which by no means or stretches of the imagination is that a bad thing. Characters that you can later recruit over to your side have their own stories and their own ambitions. The game also has a rare feature that I don't know if I've ever seen in another strategy-based RPG, and that's the ability to wander around like towns and dungeon maps, allowing you to gather items and talk to people within that town. And I just love the way that it looks and it feels with rotating the whole map, and then you're able to see the outset of some of the country, or you're able to see like rivers and different things when you bring the map up to a bird's eye view. Even it just being sprites, it's just amazing to see that not every game has to be Final Fantasy VII-R graphics to look aesthetically pleasing. Square must have heard me complaining about all those rare treasure chests, and they must have peeped game that I have been playing Final Fantasy XII and giving them praises for that, because this game has no random treasure chests. Well, at least not yet, and I'm thankful and I'm happy for that. Instead, you see little sparkles or gleams or fragments of your imagination shining on the ground. Run over, grab them, and it might be a note, it might be some money, or it could even be like a fallen weapon. I far more like that idea and system than just a random treasure chest located in the center of the desert and no other mofo have touched it. And like most all strategy RPGs, they do have a job / weapons type system, but instead of your tried and true system, their weapon system reminds me a little bit of the Final Fantasy IX accessory system. But instead of XP, the requirements must be met using natural resources like iron, fibers, stone. Also, salt is a really big factor in this game, and all of these things to me, just paint a better picture of the world. And it makes sense because these are valuable resources in medieval war type setting. Another cool feature is the Q, or the QP, the Q points, you can use once per battle. Think of this kind of like a general's orders for those of y'all who play Valkyria Chronicles, where you get once a time to do a special move, whether that's using that ability to do a critical hit or to raising the HP and removing all status effects on one of your characters. There's also something called kudo points that you gain from your actions, not only in battle, but in the real world, which are known as convictions. Convictions also play a much more central role in the entire story. Depending on the information that you've learned from others or picked up certain items from around the world, factor into the democracy type system ran by House Wolfor, i.e. Serenoa, the main character's family, where you'll get these Libra-like type scales, and your central core 7 characters that's in your party need to decide whether you're going to be going to this country or taking this critical action. And depending on what your convictions were throughout that scenario determines what you can say or rebuttal to those characters. And this is crucial because the information gained will either persuade the other 7 core party members or not. And the decisions are final. Unless you know, pull a Geek and do a hard reset before it does an autosave. Not that I've done that before. A few things though they did take out of the game I wish that they would have kept in was permadeath and friendly fire. Knowing my characters will come back or that I can just blast a fire chain flare type spell over the heads of my party members without them being affected is, for me, a little bit hand-holdy. There's also different difficulties of the game, hard, normal, and easy for those of y'all who are hard. I'm not judging. I'm just saying it's there for you if you want to do it. So far, so good. I'm really enjoying the game. So much so that I haven't even gotten the chance to play the Kirby demo yet, and I've downloaded it and it's just sitting there watching me play Triangle Strategy. You guys bought Triangle Strategy? Are you preparing to buy Triangle Strategy? Have you played Octopath Traveler? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you're new to the channel, you want to stay up to date with all things RPG, jrpg, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make new geekly content here all the time. And as always in the web, remember to eat, sleep, geek, repeat. For the longest time, I wasn't being legit or for real with myself either, because that was a part of me. And even though I was doing it in secret. And then it just hit me. And that's when it hit me. And that's when I became a geek. Finally, the sleeper has awakened. I am the prince of all geeks once again.